Hello everyone, this is Rita Holmes, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. I'm here to bring you a technique video called Bouncing Brayer, and I just want to tell you a little bit of information before I get started. I want you to know I have a Facebook group called Stamp Crazy VIP that I do my techniques on every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. After my video, I upload a PDF of telling about the supplies for the technique and the directions how to do it and the directions for the card that I made. I'd be more than happy to have you go over there and join my group to be able to get all of the PDFs that I've done for all the techniques that I have videos for. For each technique, there is a PDF over in that Facebook group. Also, if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need one, I would be more than happy to help you, whether it be to just order supplies or maybe join my team. That would be great too, and you can always email me at ritaholmes0611@gmail.com. Anyway, I think I'm going to get ready to do my technique. Again, this is called Bouncing Brayer. You can see my card here. I did a lot more of the bouncing with the colors, made it a darker background. This one I kept more white in it to kind of brighten it up. That's just to show you two examples using the same inks, and this one being pretty heavy and this one being really light. So this is the card I'm going to be making today, so I'm going to show you a couple other samples that I did. I did just using two colors. I used our Pear Pizzazz and Garden Green on this one and did the two colors. I actually stamped my leaves straight onto the paper after it was dry, the glossy cardstock, along with the sentiment. And I did the sunflower and cut it out with the dies and added it to the card. And I really love this technique, and I like it with the two colors too. I think you can do that. It's really easy. And then here's a fall card I actually did with three colors. I did Crushed Curry, Mary Merlot, and Pumpkin Pie. I wanted to do it as a fall card. So you can see I actually stamped a background after I did my Bouncing Brayer and used die cuts and ribbons and that to make my card and accent it. So, and I did the inside of all the cards. I have this one with a leaf and a sentiment. This one I just colored the small sunflower. And then on the inside of my Halloween cards, I just did a little saying with the witch. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and this is a technique that's almost really a visual for me to show and, you know, to actually even grasp. The one thing we're going to use, which is not Stampin' Up, is a Speedball soft rubber brayer. The little brayers that we have in the Stampin' Up! Catalog are made out of foam, and they're too soft. They will not do this technique. So you need the soft rubber Speedball brayer, or one that is similar to it. I use the Speedball. I've probably had my brayer for 20 years or so, so they hold up really well. If you don't have one, you wonder where to get it. If you have a Hobby Lobby near you, or a Michael's, you can find them at either place in the art section, not in the craft section. And there you can use your coupons off. So just a little bit of information about the brayer. Okay, so we're going to get started, and to do this technique I'm going to move my board here because I want a surface where I can move paper. So I'm going to bring in a piece of copy paper, and I'm going to bring in a piece of glossy cardstock with the glossy side up. You have to use glossy paper for this technique. And what I'm going to do for my card, I'm using the Ghoulish Goodies. I'm using the witch and the little bats out of this set. and I'm using the Itty Bitty Greetings. I'm using the Trick or Treat out of it for my card. I'm also using Gorgeous Grape, Pumpkin Pie, and Memento Black for my ink pads. That's what we're going to be using for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and use my Pumpkin Pie first. I want to start with my lighter color, okay? So I need to stand up to do this because this is just one of those techniques I can't do sitting down. So I have my paper in the center of my paper, and I'm going to ink up my brayer. Now when you ink your brayer, do not run back and forth like this. You want to roll it, pick it up, and roll it. And that way you cover the whole brayer. If you're just doing this, you're only getting part of it. So you want to make sure you've got it all inked. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that out of the way. When you're doing this technique, you're going to hold your brayer like this, and you're going to try to move your paper more than you move your brayer. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to bounce this, and as I'm bouncing, I'm moving my paper. And you can see it's really light, and I want it darker, so I'm going to ink up. And I'm going to keep going around till I get the ink that I want on there. And you're going to see you're going to have that middle spot, and you cannot help it. But that's why you want to keep your brayer in the same spot so that you don't have that big glob of ink everywhere. Okay? So there, I've got me some orange on there. I think I'm going to put a little bit more on this side over here. So, and if you notice, I always put my brayer in where that ink spot is. But I think I want this card really orange this time. Woo! It's sticking. So there we go. We have our orange on there. Now, the thing of it is there's orange ink all over my brayer, and we have to clean that off. So what you want to do is you want to take some paper towels. You can actually run that under water, but then, you know, you could take it off and run it under water. You don't want to get your handle wet right now because you don't want all of that water in there to drip on your card. So what I do is I take a paper towel, and I just run off on that a little bit. See the ink coming off? And then to get the rest of it off, I just take and I just spray a little bit of simple green on there. And then I rub it. And that will get a lot of that off of there. And then I want to make sure it's kind of dry. You know, I don't want it to be wet to go into my next color. So there we go. We got all that ink off of there. So I'm going to bring this back in. And I am going to bring in my purple, the Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to ink my brayer really good with my Gorgeous Grape. And this color is really intense, so you're going to see it come on here pretty quick. I'm going to go into that where all of the orange ink is. And I'm just... See how intense that color is? Well, if I couldn't get my card to move. You could actually take and put a piece of removable adhesive under this to hold it, but I didn't do that, so. Okay. I got quite a bit of purple on there. So I'm going to close my purple up. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to clean some of that off of my brayer. And at this point, because I'm going into black, you know, as long as I got a lot of that purple off, it would be fine to go in my black. So I'm just going to wipe it. I'm not going to use the... And the same thing, if you were going into the same color value like I did on the green, like this card, and I use my lighter green, I just wipe it off onto my paper towel and then go into my darker color. And that way I don't have to clean it with the simple green or run it under water every time. So I've got that cleaned off enough that we're going to go into the black. And when I use the black on this, I'm not going to add a whole lot of black. But I'm going to ink that up with my Tuxedo black ink. And here again, I'm just going to add some black in there. And there we go, we have some black in there. And if I didn't want, like, here's a big white spot. If I wanted to kind of, I can just kind of hit them with my brayer. Cover them up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to bring my paper towel in one more time. And get most of that ink off. I'll clean it with my simple green here in a few because we don't have to wait for that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my mat back in. Now when you get to this point, you can actually dry it with an embossing gun. You can let it air dry, or what I do, because there's wet in there where that big spot is, I turn it over on my paper, hold it down, and rub. That's going to get any of the excess ink off of there that hasn't dried on your glossy paper. And then I pick it up, and it's pretty good. I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do it one more time. And there, you can see that I got some more off of there. So there, it's dry now. So I can actually use that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our card. Let's compare our colors here. I think I kind of got this one. This one is in between these two. That's kind of like what I was trying to do to get my... And you can see it looks very, very messy. And on my card you can see, because all your cards will always have a spot like that. And you need to cover it. So, that's why I have a banner on here. I got this card upside down. How about that? Here I covered up the green. And then here, I covered up with the leaves. Here's another green one that I did, and I didn't do it, and you can see it's perfectly dry. Now, you could stamp images on it like I did with this. I stamped the leaves as a background image on here. You could do something like that and put a sentiment in here. You don't have to cover that up. You can use it in other ways. You can actually start your brayer like up in here, and then you almost have like a, if you did it in yellows, you could have like a sunburst. Yellows and oranges, you could do something like that. And you know, it just depends on what you would want with that. If you were doing a man's card, did it in blues and did it like down here and put maybe a fish or something at it, like that would be your pool of water. in the blues. You could do something like that. There's just so many things you can do with that, and that's just a few ideas. And I just did a few quick samples to show you those. So let's get on with our card now, and we're going to finish making the card. So what I've got is a piece of black cardstock. All of my measurements are on my PDF over at the Stamp Crazy VIP page that you're more than welcome to go get, but this is a standard card. And I'm going to take the pumpkin pie, and that's my mat for my card, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down. So let's put that in here. There we go. Then we're going to take our background that we did, and we're going to adhere that to the pumpkin pie piece, okay? And that is going to be the layers for our card, and then we just have to do our little bit of stamping and finish it. I think I'm actually going to put it this way. And that's one thing you can do. You can figure out which way you want it to go. So there we go. So now let's finish our card, okay? Let's just set this over here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this piece here, which is going to be part of my banner. I'm going to bring in my little piece of scrap to stamp this, because I don't want that black ink all over the place. So let's get out our Memento ink, and we're going to get out our little stamp with the owls and the tree on it, and we're going to stamp notice I didn't get those couple bats stamped real dark, but that's okay. That is okay, because you know what? It's always okay when you stamp. You can always find something to either cover it, add to it, whatever. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take our triple banner punch, which is this punch right here. I'm going to put my piece in here. I'm going to make sure that it's even on the back, so when I stamp it, or cut it I mean, I'm just going to punch that out. We're going to toss that, and there's our banner. Then I'm going to take an orange piece, because I'm not going to stamp it or anything, and I'm going to slide that in. Make sure that it's even. Punch that. And then I'm going to glue those two pieces together. Okay? And you could use dimensionals and pop that up if you wanted to. Just depends on. I'm going to add ribbon to it, so I want it to be flat. So I'm just going to take that, line them up at the edge. And there's my banner. Okay, I'm going to take our, let me find my ribbon. Right here it is. I'm going to take our black organdy ribbon with the glitter in it. And I'm just going to lay it across here to see how big of a piece I need. I'm going to trim it. Make sure where I want it to go. Whoops. I hit that with my finger. It's a good thing that is Tombow glue, because now I can just move it. There we go. Okay, let's get that back on there good. I'm going to lay this across to my card like this. Put it down, and I'm going to take some snail, or the Stampin' Seal, I still call snail. Put that down, and I moved my ribbon. So I'm going to put one side down, pull that up, make sure I got it even, put that down. Okay, so I have my ribbon on there. I'm going to go ahead, I got it a little crooked, so let's pull it up, make it a little more straighter. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Tombow glue, because I like that on the glossy paper. I'm going to stick it on here for it to, and I want to make sure that I've basically got that hole covered up there. So I'm going to add that right there. I'm going to cut me another piece of my ribbon, probably about 4 to 5 inches long, somewhere around there. I'm going to thread it through the piece of ribbon I already put on there, and I'm just going to tie a knot. And then trim my edges. Okay, so we got that done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I have a witch stamp right here, the little witch stamp. And I'm going to ink it with black. And I want to get a good solid image on that since there's so much it's very solid there. Oh, I hope it fits here. We're going to try it. So I stamp that down, make sure it's good. Yeah, it's got a good image. So I'm going to take my 1.5 inch circle punch and just punch that witch out. And what I did, we don't have this size circle punch anymore, but I used it instead of using a die just because it was quicker for me. And I'm going to adhere that together, okay? So just a little Tombow glue. I'm going to add that to my circle. And then I'm going to use wobbles. I don't know if you know what wobbles are, but if you can see on my card how my little witch moves around. When you mail it, these lay flat to mail, and then when you take them out, they kind of move up. Here's what they look like. These are called wobbles. Here's the tag that goes on them. I ordered the 48. They come in, I think, 12s also. I ordered them off of Amazon. So if you just go into Amazon and put Action Wobbles, they're by Hampton Art, the ones I have. You can find them on there. They're really not that expensive, and you don't use but, you know, like one on a card, you know, for your focal point. So I'm going to get one of the wobbles out. There's what one looks like. It has a flat surface, and then it has the little spring surface up here. I put this next to my object that I want to be sprung up, and this goes on the base of my card. So we're going to add a wobble. So that this has an adhesive backing, so you just pull off the adhesive as soon as you can get your fingers on it. And I'm going to stick that to the back of my, and press down on the back of my circle. Just press it down. Then I'm going to take, and this has, there they are, has little breaks in it to where you can peel it up. So I'm going to peel the backing off of this little piece. These are just little pieces of acrylic, clear acrylic, that the wobbles are made out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here on my card, and I'm going to adhere this to my card, and I kind of want it right here. So I just put it down and I press to make sure that that back side gets on my card, and there's my wobble. So the last thing that we need, well, we have two things to do, and one of them was, and I forgot, I'm going to stamp the witch on my inside piece. So let's get that done real quick. We'll ink her up again. And I'm just going to go in this corner and stamp her there. And I'll go ahead and glue that to the inside of my card. This morning, I have to tell, I always tell what silly stuff I do. I made this card this morning in my Facebook Live group, and when I got it, well, I didn't get the inside of it in yet, but when I opened it to put the inside in, I realized that I had my front one upside down. So what I did, and that's why this card looks like this, because I had my card made like this. So I had to move my wobble, which was easy. I didn't have my trick or treat on there, so this is to this side, which if you didn't know I did that on purpose, you wouldn't know about it. But yeah, I had my card, all that on upside down. Not the first time I've done it, and I am sure in my stamping life it's not going to be the last. So anyway, there's my inside. There's my front so far, and the only other thing we have to do is put on the little trick-or-treat sign. And I'll show you what I did with that. This is out of Itty Bitty Greetings. As you can see, it's very small. I'm going to do that in the orange. You know what? I think I'm going to do it in the purple on this card. I did it in the orange and the other. We'll do the Gorgeous Grape this time. So I'm going to ink it up, and I'm not going to press into that because I don't want to ink all over my stamp. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to stamp the image. Just hold that down to get a good image. So there we go. We have a good image. And I think I'm going to have to cut this piece away for a minute so I can get my... I'm going to use the classic label stamp or punch, which is this punch right here, and I love it. And what I want to do is I'm going to punch, leaving more room at the end where it says treat. I'm not centering it. I'll show you why here in just a second. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to take my side in that says treat. I'm going to stick it in through the side and make sure that I don't hit my words. And I'm going to punch that. I didn't have it in there right. I have a little piece. There we go. Cut that off. So that made me a tag on that side instead of having it pointed like this is. Looks like that to me reminds me of a picket fence. I'm going to cut this off flat over here like that so that I can bed it up here to the ribbon with some dimensionals and add my little sentiments. So I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals on here. I usually use 2 or 3. I think I'm just going to put 2 on this one. And I'm using the little mini dimensionals because of this being so small. That way I don't have to cut anything. And I'm just going to take and butt that in right there. And there's my card. So there it is. Let's look at all 3 of them. They all 3 will probably look a little different. Get all this stuff out of the way. Goodness. Let's move the scrap paper. That doesn't look very pretty. So here's the 2 I did today. I did that one this morning. I did that one here today with you. And this is the sample I had. So there's the 3 trick-or-treat cards. And as you can see, they all look a little bit different. Well, this one's different because I had to go to the other side. This one's very dark, and that one's kind of medium. And then that one. So that is the 3 cards I made with that. Let me just re-show you the other 2 samples. That's just using 2 colors. This is using 3 fall colors. And like I said, you can decorate these in any way you want. And, you know, the thing of it is if you don't like that big spot that you start with, you know, from doing your brayer, then you just cover that up. Put your images over that or whatever you can do if you want to do that. I am going to show you another card I made with the wobble. Just because of, I'm going to be giving this actually away to my pastor, so I hope he doesn't watch this. We're studying Jonah on Wednesday nights, and if you're familiar with the Bible, you know the story of Jonah and the whale, where Jonah's sucked into the belly of the whale because of his disobedience and that to God. And so anyway, I love our whale set, so I thought after he's done with that, I'm going to give him this card that says well done, meaning he did a good job. But I did a little fun fold. The paper is out of the DSP that goes with the whale, which I thought was really cute, like it's circling the whale. So I wanted to show you that. I thought that was a really cute card to do. It's a fun little fun fold and that. So anyway, and I wanted to show you he's on a wobble also. So he'll be flat in the card and then press up. Okay? Just a little thing I wanted to show you, the extra card I did. So until I'm back again with another video, I hope you enjoy your day. And I hope that you will hit that subscribe button so that you'll be notified when I do videos. Because I'm trying to do some more card videos and stuff and sharing that. So you all have a great day, a great week, and be blessed. And I'll be back with you sometime soon. Goodbye.